This is part 1 of lesson 3.1, graphing linear equations. In this course, you will learn 3 different ways to graph a linear equation. First, let me define a linear equation for you. A linear equation is an equation that forms a line when graphed. A linear equation is often written in standard form. Here is the standard form of a linear equation. Please write this down. ax plus by equals c. A, the coefficient for x, must be greater than or equal to 0. In other words, a cannot be a negative number. In standard form, a and b are not both zeros. And a, b, and c are integers, which means there's no fractions, no decimals. They're all integers. And they have the greatest common factor of 1. So no other number but 1 can divide all 3 numbers, a, b, and c, evenly. Okay, let's continue. A few things that you need to be aware of. If an equation can be written in standard form, it is, by definition, a linear equation. Note these 3 things. In standard form, x and y, the x term and the y term, are raised to the first power. Their exponent on the variable is 1. Notice that ax and by, the 2 variable terms, appear in separate terms on the left side of the equation. And number 3, notice that c, the constant term, appears alone on the right side of the equation. This is standard form. Let's practice writing equations in standard form. Okay, so the question here is determine whether each equation is linear. So remember that if we can write it in standard form, then by definition it is linear. And then write in standard form. All right, so I have copied down standard form for you. Here it is. ax plus by equals c. Keep that in mind as we try to figure out if these equations are in standard form or not. Okay, notice that in number 1, write it down, y equals 4 minus 3x. Notice that x and y are in separate sides of the equal sign. The x term is on the right, the y term is on the left. Standard form has both the x and the y terms on the left. So let's go ahead and remove 3x from the right-hand side of the equation by adding it. And let's add it also to the left-hand side. It's whatever we do on one side, we have to do to the other. Okay, we cannot combine y and 3x, so we will bring them down as separate terms. Okay, so here is this equation in standard form. Okay, just as a note on the side, we'll look at what a equals, we'll look at what b equals, we'll look at what c equals. In this one, a equals 3, b equals 1, and c equals 4. So again, the question is this a linear equation? The answer is yes, it is linear. Okay, copy down number 2. 6x minus xy equals 4. Again, we're trying to determine whether the equation is linear, and if you can write it in standard form, then you know it's linear. If it meets all the criteria of the standard form of the equation. So as I look at number 2, I notice that I have x and y together in one term. So the answer here is no, this is not a linear equation, and so I can't write it in standard form. Okay. Number 3, 1/3 y equals -1. 1/3 y equals -1. Well, the first thing that I notice here is that I'm missing an x term. But that's okay, because that simply means that the coefficient for x is 0. The coefficient for x is 0. That's why 0 times x is 0, and the 0 term has disappeared. There is no x term, but that's okay because it can be 0. X can be 0. So I have 1/3 y equals -1. The problem with this one is that to be in standard form, a, b, and c must be integers. They must be integers. And I notice here that b, the coefficient for y, is not an integer, it's a fraction. Can I rewrite this as an integer? And the answer is yes, I can. Let me bring down this equation and show you what we'll do. In order to rewrite this equation so that b is an integer, all I need to do is multiply both sides by 3, or 3/1, and notice what happens. 3/1 times 1/3 y is 1y, or plain old y. And then -1 times +3 is -3. And so that is a linear equation, and it's in standard form. Let's define a, b, and c, just to make sure. A we know is 0, because there's no x term. That means that the numerical coefficient for x was 0, a was 0. B is 1, and c is -3. So this is a linear equation. Okay, last one, number 4. Y equals x squared minus 4. We know that x and y have to be raised to the first power, and notice with me that x here is squared. Therefore, the answer is no, this is not a linear equation. And so if it's not linear, I can't write it in standard form. Okay, we will continue to practice writing equations in standard form a little later on. Okay, but right now I want to teach you one of the methods that we're going to learn in order to graph a linear equation. And that is graphing a linear equation using the x and the y intercepts. Let me give you some definitions. The x-intercept is the x-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the x-axis. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So just very quickly, a very rough graph. I just want to show you what those definitions mean. Let's suppose that I have a linear equation that I graph on this coordinate plane. Let me identify for you the x-intercept and the y-intercept. The x-intercept is the point on the x-axis where the line crosses through the x-axis. So this would be the x-intercept, whatever point that is. And so in the same way, this would be the y-intercept, that point where the line crosses the y-axis. Whatever the y value is, where your equation passes through it, that's your y-intercept. I just wanted to give you a picture of the definition. Okay, so write down these 3 steps, please. To graph a function using x and y intercepts, number 1, you will find the x-intercept by letting y equal 0. On the equation, you will substitute 0 for y and then solve for x. That will give you the x-intercept. Conversely, to find the y-intercept, number 2, you're going to let x equal 0. Once you determine the 2 points, the x-intercept and the y-intercept, step number 3, graph both x and y-intercepts and draw a line through them. Graphing using the x and the y-intercept is easiest when your equation is in standard form. Okay, all right, let's try it. Number 5. Copy down this equation. 2x plus y equals 4. Notice that this equation is in standard form. You're going to set up a table that looks like this. For the x-intercept, y equals 0. For the y-intercept, x equals 0. Okay? All right, first thing we're going to do is determine what the x-intercept is. So I'm going to copy down my equation. 2x plus y is equal to 4. So to find the y-intercept, I have to replace y in the equation with a 0. So let's do that. 2x plus 0 equals 4. Well, I know that 2x plus 0 is 2x. And to solve this, we divide by 2 on both sides. So x equals 2. So once I find my x-intercept, then I'm going to write down my point. X is 2, where y is 0. That's the ordered pair that I'm going to graph. Okay, let's do the same thing, but finding the y-intercept. Copy down the equation. 2x plus y equals 4. That's the equation that we're working with. And now to find the y-intercept, we're going to replace x with 0. So let's do that. 2 times 0 plus y equals 4. We know that 2 times 0 is 0. And 0 plus y is y. So y equals 4. And here is our ordered pair. X is 0, y is 4. Okay? So I will need to see the 2 intercepts as ordered pairs on your work. You want the x-intercept as an ordered pair and the y-intercept as an ordered pair. All right, let's go on now to graph these 2 points and draw our line through them. Okay. Please always label your x-axis and your y-axis. I can't do it on the iPad, but you need to always use a straight edge to draw your graphs. Your graphs need to be precise, they need to be neat. You need to be using the grid on your graph paper. Okay, let's go ahead and plot the x-intercept. The x-intercept is at positive 2. That's there. And the y-intercept is at positive 4. That's there. So let's go ahead and draw our line. Use a straight edge, lay down a straight edge, and draw that line right through those 2 locations. So that's how you would graph a linear equation using x and y intercepts. Okay, let's go on. Let's try number 6. 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. So we're going to go ahead and write down our table. On the left side, we're going to find our x-intercept. On the right side, we're going to find our y-intercept. So let's write the equation 3x plus 2y equals 6. To find the x-intercept, remind myself here that y equals 0. So let's substitute 0 for y. 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 6. Let's simplify. 2 times 0 is 0. 3x plus 0 is 3x. So 3x is equal to 6. And to solve for x, I'll divide by 3 on both sides. So I see that x is equal to 2. So where x is 2, y is 0. All right, for our y-intercept, 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. That's the equation we're working with. Pause the video now and substitute 0 for x. Find the y-intercept on your own. Okay, so your y-intercept is at positive 3, 0, positive 3. Okay, so now let's go ahead and graph this equation. Again, if you're working on graph paper, lay down a straight edge so that you can draw a very straight x-axis and y-axis. You can draw a very straight line when you lay down your points. Remember to always label the axis, please. Okay, so 2, 0 on the x-axis, that's there. And then 0, 3 on the y-axis is there. And you can draw your linear equation through those 2 points. Okay. Number 7, you need to do on your own. Number 7 on your own. Copy it down, please. Negative 5x minus 2y equals 10. Create your table, find the x and the y-axis, and then graph your equation. Pause the video now, come back and check your answer. Okay, take a moment now and check your work. My x-intercept is at negative 2, 0, and the y-intercept is at 0, negative 5. Okay. Number 8, do on your own, please. Pause the video now. Okay, so the x-intercept is 5, 0, the y-intercept is 0, 5, and that's a picture of your equation. Okay, independent practice today. Determine whether each equation is a linear equation. Write yes or no. If yes, write the equation in standard form. So 2 things you have to do, write yes or no, and if your answer is yes, you need to write that equation in standard form. Let me write down standard form for you. AX plus BY is equal to C. Okay, let's go on. Graphing each equation using x and y intercepts. So you're going to graph number 2. Okay, we will continue looking at this lesson tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great night.